Every Volkswagen GTI review tells you that this car is quick, refined, and practical, but none of them tell you what it's like to live with, or that the $10,000 Autobahn trim buys you almost nothing that you actually need. This is 7 things you need to know about the Volkswagen GTI before you buy one. I'm your host, Brian Makse, racer, lover of driving fast, fun things, and this is the Driver's Cut, Decisions for Drivers. If you haven't watched the full review of this GTI, well, check that out first, links in the description. First up, that $10,000 price difference between trims. Seems like Volkswagen's pricing strategy is designed to get you to spend more than you actually need. Before you configure anything, understand what you're actually paying for and what genuinely matters. A lot of people buy the Autobahn trim because Volkswagen engineered a psychological trap into their pricing strategy. Let me show you how that works. You walk into the dealership to buy a GTI, you see 3 trims, S at $32,000, SE at $37,000, and Autobahn at $40,000. The SE exists to make the Autobahn seem reasonable. Only $3,400 more for heated seats, better audio, and adaptive damping. That's called the anchoring effect, my friends. You're comparing the Autobahn to the SE, not the S. Here's what really matters. The S and the Autobahn have identical powertrains, same engine output, same transmission, same electronically controlled limited slip diff, same fundamental performance. You're not paying for speed, you're paying for comfort. The DCC, as Volkswagen calls it, or the adaptive dampers, are genuinely good. They adjust 200 times a second, and they provide real dynamic improvements on a wide variety of road surfaces. But ask yourself, do you drive roads that require adaptive damping? Most people don't. The standard dampers work exceptionally well on consistent road surfaces. The extra $7,000 buys you comforts and conveniences, things like upgraded audio and leather seats. These might improve your daily comfort, but certainly not lap times. If you're financing, that's going to add an extra few bucks to your monthly payment and probably thousands over the total term of your loan for features that don't make you any faster. Here's the rational approach. Buy the S, pocket the $10,000 difference, spend $1,500 on a great set of winter wheels and tires. You'll have $8,500 remaining for a more capable year-round vehicle. Or buy the Autobahn and own the decision. The comfort features are legitimately nice, just don't pretend you're buying performance. The GTI S and Autobahn have identical performance capabilities with one exception, and that's the adaptive dampers. If you live in an area with varying road quality and push the car regularly, that kind of damping matters. If you drive smooth roads or prioritize comfort features, the Autobahn makes sense as a premium daily driver. If you're buying primarily for driving dynamics and have consistent pavement, the S delivers the same experience for $10,000 less. Neither choice is wrong, but understand what you're buying before you sign on the dotted line. 273 pounds of torque feeding through just the front tires only should create 2 problems: torque steer and understeer. Torque steer is when those front tires are following the pavement against your steering inputs, and understeer is when the car pushes wide through corners, but on this channel we know cars don't understeer by themselves. Anyway, the GTI is afflicted by neither of these things. Zero torque steer under full throttle, neutral rotation through corners, predictable behavior at the limit. This contradicts basic front-wheel drive physics, and here's how Volkswagen solved problems that shouldn't be solvable. It's that torque sensing, electronically controlled limited slip diff that is the foundation of all of the GTI's dynamics. It can send up to 100% of available torque to either front wheel based on which one has more grip. Your mid-corner accelerating. Physics says the weight transfers rearward, unloading the front axle, and the car should understeer, push wide, scrub speed, wash out. But the diff knows that understeer is impending through a wide range of sensors. In milliseconds, the system applies brake-based torque vectoring to the inside wheel, the one with less load, redirects torque to the outside wheel, which has more grip. The car rotates around the apex with neutral balance instead of plowing straight. Simultaneously, the stability control modulates individual brake pressure. The steering assists based on speed and input, more direct at higher steering angles, more stable at highway speeds. And These adaptive dampers read road conditions 200 times per second and adjust both compression and rebound. All of these systems communicate through a central vehicle dynamics controller. It's not separate systems activating on their own. What you feel is a unified response. Turn the wheel, use the throttle appropriately, the car pivots and exits cleanly. Brake hard, then turn in, and the weight's transferred forward and the front end bites. The DSG dual clutch gearbox contributes too. It shifts in 200 milliseconds faster than you can process and manages power delivery so seamlessly you never feel wheel spin or torque interruption. From a standstill, pin the throttle, the car hooks up, tracks straight, accelerates with zero drama. This is modern front wheel drive engineering. Take a fundamentally difficult problem and solve it with some sound thinking and quality engineering. Purists call it artificial, but torque steer was never charming. The diff, torque vectoring, steering, stability control all work together to eliminate those front wheel drive limitations. You get zero torque steer with 273 pounds of torque. Then this GTI has neutral balance through corners and predictable behavior on the limit. Is this pure driving? No, there's electronic mediation between your inputs and the road, but it's effective in ways mechanical systems can't match. And this GTI doesn't feel like an old school front drive hot hatch. It doesn't feel like an all-wheel drive car either. It feels like something entirely different, and it works. The torque sensing diff sends torque to the wheel that needs it. YouTube sends these videos to people who subscribe. And if you want videos that explain how dynamics actually work from the driver's seat, well, be sure to subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. Every YouTube review tells you what the GTI is like to drive, but none of them tell you what it's like to own. We did a deep dive into owners forums and the subreddits to understand what the ownership experience is like. The most common issue is a steering wheel capacitive sensor failure. This module detects your hands for travel assist and related driver assistance features. When it fails, and a lot of owners have experienced this, the entire system cascades into errors. Travel assist unavailable, emergency assist disabled, lane assist offline, front assist gone, all accompanied by constant beeping. Of course, your dealer will replace the entire steering wheel under warranty. That's days without your car. Owners figured out it's a $25 sensor module accessible by removing the airbag. Some fixed it with a heat gun, reflowing the solder joints. And that's maybe a 30-minute fix instead of waiting who knows how long for parts and service appointments. Number 2, according to owners, parasitic battery drain. The GTI's electronics draw enough power to completely drain the battery after a few days of non-use, according to owners. This isn't a defective battery. It's normal for this system. Park at the airport for a week without a battery tender, you're calling for a jump. Owners buy trickle charges for garage storage. Number 3, according to owners, supply chain substitutions. Get this. If you ordered an Autobahn with ventilated seats and Harman Kardon audio, verify it actually has those features before taking delivery. Some owners are reporting that cars are arriving with cloth seats and bass stereos instead. Volkswagen offers price adjustments for those missing features, but if you're counting on them, well, keep this in mind. Now, the positives: for about $80, an OBD2 adapter unlocks a number of hidden features. You can unlock the Golf R digital displays, comfort windows via the key fob, permanent start-stop disable, which is interesting, menu and motion access. A lot of owners think these features should be standard. They're not. Owners fix it themselves. The ownership experience in summary, well, for starters, the GTI's dynamics are simply excellent. Your ownership experience might involve a little more patience than previous generations. Maybe your steering wheel sensor might fail, budget for a battery tender, verify your equipment before delivery, and if you modify your car, understand warranty implications. These aren't deal breakers. These are the realities that owners discover, things that I could never discover under a week-long press loan. Plan accordingly, but this GTI is probably the best all-around hot hatch you can buy today. And it's also a modern German car, which comes with its own set of complexities. From the 2025 model year and forward, the manual gearbox is no longer available in the GTI. It's dual clutch only. This is a problem if you believe maximal driving engagement matters. It's not a problem if you prioritize capability over connection. Let's discuss why both positions are valid and why Volkswagen made this decision anyway. And here's what you lose by not having a manual gearbox. involvement, control, and that intangible connection between you and your machine. The DSG is faster, but you're not doing the shifting. The computer is. You're along for the ride. With a manual, you're selecting gears based on road conditions, upcoming corners, desired engine speed. You control clutch engagement, rev matching, shift timing. Driving becomes a skill you practice and improve upon. The car responds directly to your inputs, and there's satisfaction in executing a perfectly timed heel and toe downshift. The dual clutch does this automatically, perfectly every time, and that makes it a little less special. But a manual is slower in every measurable way. Slower acceleration, slower lap times, slower real-world passing. But the driver is more engaged in the process. Here in this GTI, these paddle shifters exist, but in a lot of ways, because this gearbox is so good, they're a little bit of performative theater. In manual mode, you can hold gears and control shift points, but the transmission still shifts faster than you can pull the paddle. You're kind of suggesting shifts, the computer just executes them. It's not the same as mechanical linkage between your hand and the gearbox. But some people don't care about this. They want a car that's quick for daily commuting, occasional spirited driving, and never thinking about having to choose gears. For those people, this dual clutch is ideal, but if you bought previous GTIs specifically for the manual, this generation isn't offering that option. You're either adapting to the dual clutch or buying something else. And the DSG is objectively quicker, smoother, and more efficient than a manual. It enables better performance numbers and requires less driver skill to extract maximum capability, but it also removes a layer of involvement and control that many enthusiasts consider essential to the driving experience. Neither position is wrong, and if you prioritize capability, the dual clutch delivers. If you prioritize engagement, the GTI no longer offers the manual. And in truth, Volkswagen based this decision on take rates and global emissions regulations. The market will prove whether they're right or wrong. If this manual versus dual clutch discussion made you reconsider what you value in an automobile, make sure you click the like button. YouTube measures engagements, and likes directly affect whether they show this video to more people who will enjoy it. And let me know in the comments, would you take this GTI with a dual clutch or something else with a manual instead? There's no right answer. The original Mark I GTI weighed about 1,800 pounds. My Mark IIs all weighed in around 2,000 pounds. This one is about 3,200 pounds. Compared to the Mark I, this is almost 1,400 pounds heavier, a 77% increase in curb weight. Modern GTIs have more power, better tech, and superior safety. They're also fundamentally different cars operating under a legacy nameplate. Let's examine what those 1,400 pounds actually bought and what they actually cost. To be fair, if we compare this GTI to its modern competitors like the Civic Type R, Hyundai Elantra, and Subaru WRX, they either weigh the same or more, and they basically have the same weight problem. This isn't a Volkswagen-specific problem, it's an industry-wide reality. And in my view, as a former Mark II owner, the weight issue is a bit problematic because this car wears a badge that is rooted in simplicity. The original GTI became legendary specifically because it was light, affordable, and fun. Current GTI marketing still references that heritage while selling a car that contradicts it. And the thing is, weight affects everything. Brake rotors are larger to handle higher kinetic energy. Tires are wider to support heavier cornering loads. Suspension components are beefier to manage increased forces. Each solution adds more weight, requiring stronger components, perpetuating the cycle. Could Volkswagen engineer a lighter GTI? Well, theoretically, yes. They could remove sound deadening, delete luxury features, use thinner glass, eliminate unnecessary equipment. You'd save maybe 200 pounds and create a car nobody would buy because it wouldn't meet modern refinement expectations. The market demands comfort, technology, and safety, and those demands require mass. The GTI didn't get heavy because Volkswagen became lazy. The GTI is heavy because modern consumers demand weigh something. Sure, this weighs 1,400 pounds more than the OG GTI. That mass comes from safety equipment, emissions controls, sound deadening, Technology and structural reinforcements feature that make this car safer, cleaner, more refined, and more capable. But that added weight fundamentally changes the driving dynamics, and this latest GTI is the best GTI Volkswagen can build under current regulations and market expectations. And in a lot of ways, it's a very different car than what made the GTI nameplate legendary. Both statements are true, and the tension between them is still unresolved. Here, this 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine makes 241 horsepower. The same engine in the Golf R makes 328 horsepower. The same basic architecture powers various Audis and probably a Lamborghini tractor. Platform engineering means Volkswagen artificially limits power for market segmentation. Here's what's possible when you remove those limitations and what it costs beyond the tune price. Volkswagen uses this engine across the entire product range because platform sharing maximizes profits. One engine architecture, multiple outputs deployed across dozens of models. This is sound business. It's also why a base Golf, a GTI, and Golf R feel related. They share fundamental DNA. Regardless of the application and power output, the difference is turbo boost pressure, ECU tuning, and premium fuel requirement. The hardware is nearly identical. It allows Volkswagen to charge you more for the Golf R to unlock additional power, plus all-wheel drive. Here's some enthusiast math. GTIs trim costs $32,000. Add $600 or so for a Stage 1 tune, you have 330 horsepower for about $33,000. The Golf R starts at $45,000 and has 328 horsepower, so you're paying about $12,000 more for all-wheel drive, slightly better brakes, and the Golf R badge. The performance difference is minimal, and a tuned GTI is actually quicker. But you lose warranty coverage, and all-wheel drive provides genuine capability advantages in winter weather and high-performance driving. The Golf R puts down power more effectively, corners with more confidence, and handles poor conditions better. You're paying for that capability, not just power. And some owners will accept the warranty risk and tune their GTIs anyway. Others buy the Golf R for peace of mind and all-wheel drive capability. The third group buys a GTIs, doesn't tune it, and pockets the $12,000 difference. All three approaches are rational depending on your priorities. Now, the frustrating part is Volkswagen could offer a factory GTI S Plus with 280 horsepower, better warranty than tune cars, and price it between a GTI and a Golf R. They won't, because it would probably cannibalize Golf R sales. This is market segmentation protecting profit margins. And some say the engine in this GTI can reliably handle 330 horsepower and 390 pounds of torque on a Stage 1 tune. And yes, that's Golf R power for $600 instead of $12,000, but you void drivetrain warranty coverage and risk expensive repairs. The platform engineering is brilliant for Volkswagen's profits and frustrating for consumers who understand they're paying for artificial limitations. If you tune, understand the financial risk. If you want warranty coverage and peace of mind, well, buy a Golf R. If not, keep your GTI stock. There's no perfect solution. The GTI has always promised performance capability and maximum utility for its size, and this latest generation still delivers. But performance tires in the summer, firm suspension, and limited cargo space creates compromises most buyers underestimate until they own the car. Let's examine what daily driving a GTI actually involves beyond the enthusiastic reviews. This GTI Autobahn comes with 235 wide 19-inch performance summer tires. Those tires provide excellent grip in the dry and the wet above about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Below that, the compound hardens and grip deteriorates rapidly. So if you live anywhere with winter weather, budget $1,500 for a second set of wheels and winter tires. That's not optional, it's mandatory for safe winter driving. Some owners swap to 18-inch winter setups for better ride quality and tire availability. I certainly would. Others match the 19-inch size to maintain handling balance. I would not. Summer tires also wear faster than all seasons. Expect 20 to 30,000 miles from a set of performance summers, depending on your driving style and road conditions. My results would be dramatically worse than that. If you drive like me, you're replacing tires more frequently and paying more per tire than typical economy car owners. The base S and SE trims use 18-inch wheels, slightly smaller, slightly taller sidewall, better ride quality on rough roads, and cheaper replacement cost. If you're not tracking the car, 18s might actually be the smarter choice. Fuel economy is rated at 24 city, 32 highway, and 27 combined. And if you can be prudent with your right foot, those numbers are reasonable for a 241 horsepower turbo 4 hot hatch. The GTI balances performance and daily usability better than most hot hatches. Cargo space is practical, ride quality is acceptable, especially with the adaptive dampers, and visibility is outstanding. But budget for winter wheels and tires, accept the fuel consumption numbers of a hot hatch, and understand the suspension will always be firmer than mainstream cars. The GTI is genuinely livable as your only car, but it's a little bit more demanding than a simple hatchback. If you want to support the channel beyond just watching, well, drop by the merch store. Lots of great stuff for driving enthusiasts like us, including our very popular line of Save the Manuals merch. It funds better productions and track days when I need to escape when people ask me what I do for a living. Links in the description below. That's 7 things you need to know about the modern GTI. Understanding trim pricing psychology, appreciate how electronics solve front-wheel drive limitations in the modern era, prepare for ownership realities, accept dual clutch only availability, acknowledge weight compromises and heritage, understand tuning risks and platform economics, and budget for real daily driving costs. And undoubtedly, this GTI is one of the best hot hatches, if not the best hot hatch you can buy today. It's also more complex and maybe a bit more expensive than their marketing suggests. And in my view, buy it for what it is, not what the badge used to mean. I'm Brian Makse. Thanks for watching the driver's cut about this latest Volkswagen GTI. And if you want to check out the full review, the link's in the description. And if this episode helped you understand what the GTI is all about at a different level, well, be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to like this video. We make content for drivers who value truth over marketing, and there are more deep dives like this every week. See you on the next one.